Hey, welcome back everyone. We're going to do a practice today, and this practice is for those of you who have tension up here in the upper traps. This can be such a persistent area of tension and discomfort for a lot of people. And before we do the practice, I want to say this is intended as a general practice that is kind of exploratory in nature. So we're going to explore a few different factors in this area that could make a difference to how you feel up in your upper traps. That being said, the things that contribute to discomfort in this area are varied and individual. So I really recommend, if this is a big area of difficulty for you and you're really struggling, that you get assessed, professionally assessed, and get a plan that is focused on really what you need, because that can be so beneficial. For the practice today, we are going to be using a resistance band. If you don't have one, don't worry. So I will give you some options. You can either grab a strap, although it's going to feel different because it's not stretchy. If you have something that's a little stretchy, even better. Or I'll just show you how to do the movement, and this is something that if you want to play with more in the future and you want to grab a band, that could be really helpful. There's also an option to use a ball. I won't be using one, but I will give you that option when we get there. So if you have a little tennis ball or cross ball or myofascial release ball of some kind and you want to have that around, you could grab that as well. We're going to start in any seated position. Feel free to use your chair. Be as comfortable as you can be right now. We're going to take a moment and just notice what you feel. Tuning in to sensations in the body, start by paying attention to what's really drawing your attention, right? What is it that's kind of foremost in your felt experience? And then see what else is going on. Where are the quieter sensations? How does your breath feel right now? Maybe even slowing your breath down a little bit. No need to breathe super deeply here. Just finding a nice slow rhythm. Feeling your breath moving up and down your spine. The first movement we'll do is going to be a head and neck movement. So as we move towards this, we're going to keep everything really nice and quiet in the shoulders, the ribs, down to the pelvis and legs. You're going to start by taking your right ear over towards your right shoulder. Any amount that feels good. And then you're just pausing here with the head inclined over towards the right. Now we're going to shake your head like you're saying no. So your eyes, nose, and chin are going to make a diagonal line from that right shoulder up to the left and back down. And as you go, you're going to pay attention to the sensations that you feel. So you could feel this all sorts of places. See if you can find a range of motion that feels comfortable and easy for you. Maybe slowing down even a little bit more. Just noticing what happens as you do this movement. And then next time your gaze and chin come down to that right shoulder, you'll pause here and take a full breath. And then depending on what feels most comfortable to you, you can either just bring your head up and over to the other side, or you can slowly roll your chin towards your chest. Just feeling into the muscles in the back of the neck. And then roll the left ear over to the left shoulder. So now your head is inclined on an angle over towards the left. And we're going to do that same gentle head shake like you're saying no. So your eyes, nose, and chin draw a diagonal line from your left shoulder up to the right and back down. And you're going to pay attention to what you feel as you do this movement. So you might notice that you might feel different things on this side than you did on the other side, and that's fine. And find a range of motion that feels comfortable and easy for you. And just pay attention to how you feel as you go. And then slowing down a little bit more, bring your gaze and chin down to that shoulder. Take a breath here on the left. And then either just bringing the crown of your head up, or if you want to roll the chin back to the chest for a moment, lengthening through the back of the neck first, and then bring your gaze up. You can do that way. Taking a moment to notice how you feel. And then we're going to do a little self-massage for the front of the shoulder. So we're going to focus on the pectoral muscles where they come over to the arm. And for this, you can use your hand, or if you have a little ball, you can use a ball. With the ball, what I usually recommend is you're going to bring that ball into the fleshy part in the front of the shoulder. You're going to come to a wall, and you're going to stand with the ball between your body and the wall, and then you can just kind of move it around, find the sore spots. If you don't have a ball, we can just do this with your hand. So you're going to bring your hand, again, we're not on bone, we're in that muscle that runs between the arm and the chest, and it forms the front of the armpit as well. So if you're comfortable doing so, you can even bring your fingers into the armpit, so you're coming around the back of that muscle, and you can gently manipulate it between your fingers if that feels good. Or you can just stick in the front of the shoulder. As you're doing this, if it feels good to kind of move your arm out to the side, you might notice you'll get a little more tension in that muscle because the arm is reaching away, maybe slightly back, maybe slightly up. So you're working in different angles. Okay, this shouldn't be painful, so you very well may have some sensation in there, but we want to keep the massage stimulus in a level that still is comfortable. You shouldn't be crawling out of your skin here. And then you're going to notice side to side any differences, and we'll come to that second side. So you're massaging the tissue in the front of the shoulder where the pectoral muscle comes over towards the arm. If you want to bring your fingers into the armpit and grip that muscle from both sides, or kind of manipulate your fingers along that muscle here, you can do that. It can bring a lot of sensation. If you want to come to the wall, of course you can do that as well. And as you're working on that muscle, if it feels like good to reach your arm out and kind of play with different heights of the arm, you'll notice the tension on the muscle changes. The sensation might change. So sometimes this area can be really sore. We still want to keep it in the feel-good kind of sensation. So we're not here to create torture, the most torture you possibly can stand, right? But we are looking to get a little release through the front of the shoulder. When you feel complete with that, you can sit and just notice how you feel. You may already notice a shift, or you may not. And now that we've loosened up the front of the shoulder, we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So we'll start by bringing the shoulder forward and up as you inhale, back and down as you exhale. And then I want you to pay attention to what is actually moving. So sometimes we are actually doing a little cat-cow in the spine, or we're doing something with the head and neck. See if we can keep all that quiet and just find a nice, round, easy shoulder roll. Sometimes we are motivated to look for sensation and range, but here we're actually looking for a nice, round, and easy movement. So that may not be the biggest movement you can do. You're going to notice what sensations you feel when you move the shoulders this way, and then we'll roll the other way. So you're going to come back and up and forward and around. And again, you're going to notice, is the rib cage getting involved? Is the neck or jaw getting involved? Are you holding your breath? Can you find a place of ease where this movement is still fairly round? And it may not be symmetrical, right? We tend to have a dominant hand, and so we tend to experience asymmetries in this part of the body. Normal. Not necessarily something we need to fix, even if one side is sore. But we do want to see where we can find balance and help your body feel more comfortable with the movements that you need to do, right? So now we're going to let that rest. Noticing what you feel. And we're going to focus on the shoulder blades. So shoulder blades are on your back, so you can't see them. And sometimes we don't use them that much. And so when that happens, the muscles around the shoulder blades can get really tight. So we're going to see if we can just bring the shoulder blades straight up and straight down. Now, as you're doing this, sometimes we have a tendency to shrug in more. So we're really pulling in towards the shoulder. That's these muscles here. Nothing wrong with it. But to start out with, we'll go there. To start out with, we're going to see if we can think about coming up from the bottom of the shoulder blade a little bit more evenly and then drawing down, so relaxing and then drawing the shoulder blades down a little bit. Coming back to the middle, lifting a little bit, coming back to the starting position and then drawing the shoulder blades down. See if you could go straight down like you're trying to tuck that shoulder blade into your back pocket, if you had one. So we're going to do a few of these. You might see, can you do one at a time? And that can be kind of educational. So sometimes we find we can do both. But when it comes to doing one at a time, that it's a little bit harder, or one of them doesn't work as well. And then we're going to bring the shoulders up, and now we're going to shrug them in towards the ears. We're going to really hold that tension as long as that feels okay. Big breath in, and then exhale as the shoulders come down. Letting that release. You're going to notice how you feel. And then if you have a band, you're going to take the band. Arm position is like this. If you don't have a band, you're going to have the palms up flat to the ceiling. Upper arm's tucked in right next to your rib cage. So we want that upper arm to stay next to the side. That being said, sometimes the whole arm doesn't touch because we might be kind of curvy, right? So like if the curves of the arm muscles and the curves of the side body don't match up, maybe we don't touch all the way down, totally fine, right? But we're going to hug in, and we're not going to change that as we go through the movement, right? If you have a band, you're going to hold a band in the palms of the hands and just gently fold the fingers over the band. We want to hold that band relatively softly. I'm using my thumb here to really pin the band in place. From here, you're going to take your arms out. So the basic movement here is, if you had the hand, it's like you're passing a tray side to side. Upper arm stays right next to the body. There's a little stuff maybe going on in your shoulder blade, right? Hand is more or less parallel to the ceiling. So when we do it this way, we've got both sides moving. And as you bring the hands out away from each other, you're going to try to keep the forearms parallel to the floor, elbows in by the sides, and you're going to feel or create, if you can, a little squeeze between your shoulder blades as the hands come out. You might hold and then slowly release back to center. Coming out, squeezing, holding. Slowly coming back to center. Coming out, squeezing, holding. Slowly coming back to center. So you can do a few of these. Noticing what you feel. Maybe one more. So we're releasing with control. So we're controlling that movement at the shoulder. You can put that band to the side. Notice what you feel. Take some nice, easy breaths up and down the spine. So you may have found that some of these things helped you a lot, noticeably, right away. Some of them may have increased some tension, and that doesn't necessarily mean they're not helpful in the long term. So this is where being assessed can be really, really helpful. But the things that give you relief, those are the things you might want to save for the end, especially in that case. So you can work out your own practice based on what you notice. That's really the magic of yoga therapy, right? So when we're really paying attention to what we feel and adapting from there. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. I appreciate you. I hope you found this really useful. If you have questions or you want to share what you experienced, I would love it if you do that in the comments. I will read them and respond to them. And I hope that you're able to release some of that pesky tension in the tops of the shoulders. I know it really can be very uncomfortable. Thank you. May we all be balanced and well. Take really good care.